Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, this was War 11 of Season 31. I know I fell a little bit behind, but this is worth getting out. Lots to talk about. And then at the end, I actually am going to do a season synopsis, really talk through all the different champions I took in. I was amazed. There ended up being 12 different champions. I was really surprised. I'm going to try to track that better while going through Season 32. But today, right now at least, we're going to talk about Angela. I had told Taters for this war, I'm like, dude, I've got a full day. It was a Saturday. I had a full day. I didn't even know if I'd get to any of my fights before the next morning. They created the battle plan. I saw the alert go out. 3 fights with Angela. You can see I'm all synergized up. I mean, we got all the pre-fights. We got it all. I'm really excited to go through it. And this is all Angela. She is awesome. I was surprised how much I used her this season and how invaluable she was to my battleground and to me. So let's go ahead and get started through this, because it's going to talk a lot about the various parts of utility that she has. Now, we're obviously going up against this Havok. One of the reasons she's great for Havok is because she can parry the projectiles. Additionally, she has the ability to have an armor up if you're staying between 0 and 1 bars of power. Another thing I want to point out, in case anyone takes a fight like this, with return policy, because of the node, the hit me, I dare you, Havok will be getting an armor up at points in time. If I armor break them by throwing a special, it ends up counting as a nullify, and he will gain 60% of a bar of power. Obviously, you don't want to send him to his SP3, but that's something to keep in mind. I believe I learned that from one of Campo's war videos from Season 31 or an off-season war or something like that. So, as you can see, I didn't have my time to do my normal duels and warm up and things like that. It wasn't rushed, but I was moving pretty swiftly, had things I needed to get back to. I don't even remember if I took these that night or in the next morning. I think it was that night. The boss was down. I think Glags had finished off the boss for us. So here we go. So I'm going to do my best to stay between 0 and 1 bars of power. When I get to my special 1, I am going to throw it. I have the invulnerability boost on. I mean, I'm just doing everything I can to be as safe as possible. We should be landing our parries. And then, throwing our specials at a time where it should not be pushing him to his SP3. She's hitting pretty hard. I mean, look at these numbers. I am running the recoil tree masteries. But when we're getting a nice crit, look at this. And yes, I could be throwing heavies if I really wanted to, but the fight was going smooth. I was happy with how hard she is hitting, and not pushing him to his SP3. The chances of happening, I think, are small. But anytime you're surprised by a node interaction, I think that's often when problems happen, bad things start to happen. So we're doing well. We're doing great. Very happy. We know these special evades. Fought a lot of Havocs, but did a lot of Angela this season. And so this was smooth, and it feels like a nice way to end my war videos. I didn't take her to Season 12 or to War 12, but it was cool to have an all Angela war in War 11. I actually regretted taking her to rank 3 when I first did it. This war season made me not regret that anymore. Could not be happier to have a SIG 200 rank 3 Angela. She just can handle things, as you're seeing from this, like this interesting set of utility that all works together and allows it to take these very, very difficult fights, where, I mean, they were able to plan a battle plan with me saying, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to war that day. Part of that's Taters and Liza being as awesome as they are, but Angela is helping out for sure. Now, if you've been following my wars videos this season, you know that I fell for something. It was like a bit of a trap here. On this exact node. Now, it wasn't Jabari Panther, it was against a Vision Arcus. The node applies a bleed. If the defender is placed with deep wounds, even with your Angela, they are going to stay. And you're going to see bleeds. Watch some of these bleeds stay when I hit. We're going to need to wait until she's applying bleeds. Additionally, I had 2 deaths this whole season. One of them was to a Jabari. It was bad. It was really, really bad, but these things happen. But I really wanted to make sure I just came in and played this super, super clean. I'm not even going to throw a special. And you can see the bleeds. That's what I wanted to point out there. Now that we're on the bleed side. There, even though my Angela is SIG 200, I've got all these buffs, still getting those bleeds. It's just from the node and the fact that the defender has deep wounds. And really interesting stuff. I know the special evades. Right there, I did not punish. And I think that's really key against Jabari. She recovers fast. We've talked about this in some other videos this season about her heavy. If you don't have it timed really well, like I did there, do not punish it. See, like right there, I backed off. I was like, I don't have this perfectly. There's a chance I get this right. There's a chance I don't. And Jabari hits hard enough where with 1 or 2 hits, or special for goodness sake, she can close that fight. So don't chance it. There's no reason to Go in. I'm not throwing my specials because I don't want to land those armor breaks, just in case she's able to cleanse them and then put herself into the hunt. That was some great fight advice from Taters. And then we just go in there and finish her off. That's great. I don't mind healing up. I wouldn't have anyways, but with these compensation packages we've been getting, it's even less of a pain to heal up. Fine. Now moving into Bishop. I don't like fighting Bishops. Yeah, I don't mind fighting Havok, especially when I have an Angela. I don't really enjoy fighting Jabari these days, and Bishop is up there for the list of champions. I just can't stand fighting him and like a Nihilus. And MCoC, actually. The list goes longer. Anyways, the point of this is, here's what we're going to do. Here's the game plan. Angela will handle the node. She'll be shrugging these things. I'm going to have plenty of buffs. She's SIG 200. If there's a bleed, that's fine. But you saw how much health it'll actually take. It would also require the defender to have placed with deep wounds. So I'm not sweating it. I'm going to make sure I am ending my combos. Once I get Bishop between 1 bar power and 2, I'm going to make sure I'm ending my combos with a light attack and then holding block as quickly as I possibly can. I want to give the AI as little time as possible to interpret that there is an opening for throwing their special one. I don't want to deal with it. I don't know the evade very well. Additionally, I don't want to deal with the incinerate type aura that I think it's called like energy release or something like that he puts out there. I just don't want to have to deal with it. So that's why you're going to see me. I ended a combo in the medium there. But now I've got him over a bar of power. In fact, I think I only did a 4-hit combo just to really feel comfortable with it. Because this is a fight where the matchup is so good. If played properly, really nothing should go wrong. It just takes a few seconds longer. The SP2, I can sometimes full evade. There's nothing wrong with blocking the first portion and then dexing the rest. You can see I was not on my toes, as they say here. I could see it, and it was very clear to me in this fight. I was really just wanting to make sure I had Bishop down properly and not caring what my health pool was at the end of the fight, just as long as I had a health pool at the end of the fight. I probably could throw my SP3. I don't know why I'm not, but I just was happy doing this. I'm not really sure. But the fight's going smooth. Nice little trick when you're fighting Bishop. I'm sure a lot of you would much rather have him throw his SP2 than his SP1. Just make sure you end in the light, hold block as quickly as possible, play him basically stun immune. I mean, I could have parried on this node, but again, I wanted to hold block as much as possible. And he's down. As you can see there, it looks like Lags probably took out the boss for us. We had a nice war. We actually did end up winning this war. That felt really good. And now I'd like to get to the season wrap up. So this was really cool to do. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep track of it more as we go through season 32. Because I think that would be fun, but this was very, very surprising. I knew that I took in Angela way more than I ever thought I would. I just didn't enjoy playing her. But then now having a role for her, I took section 9, those hazard shift lanes, section 2, lane 9, so frequently and was sent towards Havok's. And it felt good. It felt good to have someone who can take some troublesome fights, utilize my roster, and go through that. Now, this season, I didn't get that many fights. I didn't get a ton of fights, not like the previous seasons there. So you can see I took 52, I had 52 solos with 2 deaths, which was an above 96% solo rate. And for L0ki, Taters did these really cool like PR rankings and things like that. So that would have got like a Shinobi card. I mean, that was a solo rate that was, high enough for recognizing, so that felt good. I did have 2 boss solos. They ended up being in season War 1 and War 2 of the season, and then it just didn't work out to have any more boss attempts for the rest of the season. But it was really cool because it was Mr. Negative and the Overseer versus a Mojo boss and a Ebony Maw boss. Absolutely loved it. And then that got me kind of really interested in Overseer and diving deep into that champion. Very, very cool champion. Got some videos out on him. And then this is what really just blew me away. I used, and I mean this, I took fights with, not just they came in and they placed pre-fights or they were synergy champions. I took fights with 12 total champions. I mean, I was talking about how excited I was. I got to use my roster, and it was awesome to use different champions and help out my BG. I thought I had only taken in 10, and I still felt like 10 was a lot. 12 really blows me away. Really blows me away. The positives is that it keeps it fresh as new champions to learn and try to do things with. Makes, I think, war videos interesting in a way. We can talk about a lot. The negative is, being a 100% expert, there's this idea of like really knowing how to utilize and then also knowing how to master a champion. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I was in between those. I would hesitate to use master for a lot of these. But figuring out, having some war skills, and then of course the excellent planning of Taters and Lizer. But just so you know, so because I went with percentiles, Angela, this ended up being 10 fights. She did 10 fights for me, came into 4 wars. Mole Dude, as I like to call him, did 9 fights. I would have never guessed that either, coming into 4 wars. Those are by far the most. Then dropping down to Doom. I know how to use Doom. I'm far from a master of Doom, but he's just so tanky, and he can just take over a fight that he's one of my confidence-inducing champions. Where you're like, you don't even really necessarily always need to know what's going on, but once you get the Doom cycle with him, things are probably going to be a-okay. And if you make a mistake, it's not going to hurt him that bad. So I took 7 fights with him in 2 different wars. Archangel is an amazing champion. Obviously, that was 5 fights in 3 different wars. Magic, I love that there's still a 5-star coming in. This is tier 1 war. You know, we were 1 off of Masters, so P1, and 5 stars are dominating. She's awesome. She's amazing. Some tough fights there with some extra power game mini bosses, and then Apocalypse on the node that puts the shock on you. But if you just prevent him from throwing specials, you don't need to worry about how he interacts with Bubble Shield with those massive specials of Nebula. Hopefully you caught my last video of the season, War 12. Came in and never used her in War before. Took some very difficult fights with her. Had an absolute blast. She is a monster. I hope I get to use her more. I hope I get to use all the champions more. I love War, and I love the game. And Nebula was incredible. Really opened my eyes how good she is. Campo was already doing that. MP Blaze a little bit there too. I think he's been using her. But then actually seeing it for myself and how she could recover, it was awesome. It was really cool. Apocalypse is an absolute beast. One of my favorite fights from the season, where I just had to figure it out against an America Chavez. He's incredible. Kingpin, you know, he's an amazing champion. I actually think that there's an argument to be made for he's the best skill champion in the game, but skill is so varied and so good. I think it's best left as an argument, a fun one, not that he necessarily is, and there's no reason to crown one. Mr. Negative came in and took 2 fights in 2 different wars, soloing a Mojo, and then I think Mojo both times, actually. He's a great matchup for Mojo, and I love playing Mr. Negative. Shang-Chi came in for 2 fights. I think they were just kind of throwing me a bone on that one. They're like, hey, let Vega use his rank 4 and put it on a video. So that was fun. Thank you for doing that. And then Miguel. Oh, you know, Miguel's name's not even showing up. Come on, Canva. You got to help me out here. But that's why that one's not labeled. Miguel took 2 fights, Spider-Man 99. A lot of fun. Oh, really tough Mixed Master Ma that I had never done before. I'd never taken that fight before. I've taken that node, but never that exact fight. And we had to get that down. And then Overseer took 1 fight, which was a tremendous boss kill of Ebony Maw. Just absolutely obliterates him. Got me to dive into Overseer more and more. He is way better than I realized. Glad we got out some videos on him. But this kind of shows what I was talking about, is that with these fights, like with Miguel, Spider-Man 89, I only used him for 2 fights, and I can remember one of them because I had never done it before. And I remember telling Taylor, like, I got to do duel. I got to do some duels for this, man. And I think Enzo needed to get to bed, and you always want to respect that. At the same time, I had to get my duels in, and that's part of it. When you're taking in 12 different champions, at least when I'm taking in 12 different champions, I need my time. I need those duels, and thanks for Taters, Lizer, and the whole BG for understanding that and working with me on it. So thank you so much. I know the War Season videos did really well. People seem to really enjoy them and view them. I'm very excited about putting out more in Season 32. I love War. I do. It is nothing in this game produces such highs. And then also, conversely, the lows of when there is a death, because they do happen. But I love getting them out, all of them, even the deaths, showing them to you guys, talking it through, the comments. Learned so much from it. So thank you so much for watching Season 31 with me. It was cool to see the videos do so well. I definitely intend to do it because it's more fun. It's more fun to make videos on the things I enjoy and to know that you all are enjoying it too. So I hope you had a good Season 31. I hope you're looking forward to Season 32. I really appreciate you watching. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.